I'm here with a case manager worker here in New York City that works with all the migrants here. Her face is blurred because she can't show who she is. We don't want to put her job at risk. However, she's going to be telling us about what is going on here and how the migrants are being treated and what they're getting as far as Social Security, money, rent, anything like that. We're going to be talking about that. So, what do you do here in New York City?
I am a caseworker supervisor. I work with a nonprofit organization, basically case managing the migrants' lives, providing them with any resources, referrals that they need, whether it's legal assistance, benefits if they qualify, any of those sorts of help.
And what are you seeing on a day-to-day basis with how these migrants are being treated and what they're going through?
I mean, I realize that I get to see both sides of the world. I get to see how many of these migrants, a lot of them do come for the need of asylum. Some are just taking advantage of the system. However, I know at first the best services of the food, it depended on the shelter, honestly. Some of them got good food, other shelters did not. It was frozen food. They recently just updated the services, and it's a better food, kind of quality for the migrants. But now, due to their legal status, if they get their asylum, they get their TPS, whatever type of legal document that supports them being able to stay here, now they're able to qualify for legal public assistance, meaning food stamps and cash assistance. So a lot of them are receiving those type of services from the government, especially a lot of them come here pregnant. So as soon as they've birthed an American child, they automatically qualify for those public benefits.
So a lot of them are receiving public benefits of the United States.
Yes.
And they're getting free money, free help from the tax dollars of the United States.
Food stamps and cash assistance. Now, we're hearing in the news that they're getting vouchers, they're getting paid to live a year upstate somewhere, a full year for free, right? So is this where our tax money is going? Like, I'm not, it's very difficult to say what America has turned to. Like, what about us, the people living here? What are you doing for us?
Mm-hmm. How much money do you think it costs per migrant just for a day?
Depending on where they are sheltered, because that's basically what it's based off. Some locations, I would say, range from like $3,000 to at most $7,000, I'll say, depending on where they are located.
A day, or?
I think it's a month per month.
Per month, each migrant is costing about $3,000 to $7,000 here in the United States. And do they have to do anything in exchange for what they're receiving as far as getting free food stamps? Do they have to work? Do they have to do anything?
Once they get the work permit, because that's the most how they get it, yes, they have to go find work, basically.
But before they're able to get it, do they have to do anything in return, or is it just free?
No, they did not. It's just services provided. It's free. But that's just how the system is set up. Because even us Americans can apply, but that's how the system is. The poor just keep getting all those benefits, and that's how the society stays. Like, they want people to stay at that lower class and get free money. But it's like, now these are migrants, so it's a free-for-all. I thought it was like, different aspects, different levels to it.
And how do you feel seeing all this corruption from what you've been seeing with your job?
There is a lot of corruption in the sense that the migrants have honestly now made the city completely, the dynamics of it, the demographics, everything just completely changed and swift in a way that America was not ever before. Now there's more violence in the streets. We don't know it. We cannot say it's due to them. Now mental health is out there. Our veterans, like, there's just our people, our homeless people here. They do not receive the services that they should. They do not. All this money that is going out there, that is being spent elsewhere, could be spent in here with our people here, our mental health people here, our homeless, our veterans, our taxpayers, you know what I mean? And then, yes, we can definitely help some of these migrants, but is it to what extent? I do understand some of them do need the help. They are coming from a country of many violence, death, decapitation. I understand their journey coming here because I've heard a lot of experiences where they come through jungles and different paths, right? They see certain bodies. So it's like, it's difficult to really say who deserves it, right? And who doesn't. Now it's up to us Americans to decide that, I guess, whether it's voting, deciding to vote, see what this actually, do your research, educate yourselves, and figure out what will make America really great again.
And what percentage of migrants do you think are actually suffering that are coming here? Do you think the majority are actually suffering in their countries, or they just hear that, oh, it's a free pass, you get free money once you get to America, now is the time to come, the border's wide open?
So because of social media and everything going out there, and I've seen videos of migrants themselves saying it, because that's the system. Hey, I have a child here, an American child, I gave birth here. Guess what? She's a citizen, she gets birth certificate, social, she can qualify for public assistance. She's giving us $500 a month of food stamps, $140 monthly in cash assistance, and it's like, that's free money. Why not, right? Wow, it's easy, I guess, now. So I don't know to what extent this is going to continue. I don't know what changes needs to be done, but we really need to just educate ourselves and do our research.
Wow. And so people are just posting on social media now that basically now is the time to come to America. So the majority of the people that you work with that are claiming asylum, that are working for their papers, how many of them do you think are really fleeing bad circumstances that are in their lives are really in danger in their countries?
From a percentage, I would say from 1 to 100, a good 40 to 45 for the most part, based on my building itself. Now I can only imagine other different shelters, right? Maybe different. So it depends on the type of the country they came from. So some of them qualify for certain TPS, that's what it's called, temporary protective services. A lot of them are from Venezuela. That's one of the countries that I am aware of.
So what countries are flagged as like, okay, they're actually fleeing?
For the moment, the Venezuelans, because when we do the TPS referrals, is for Venezuelans.
Okay, and is countries like Ecuador, Colombia, are they red flagged? Or?
So they can go and qualify for political asylum, and then they will be identified there depending on their supporting documents as to why they had to flee.
Oh, okay. So that's how the process works. They have to then present themselves eventually to a judge after claiming asylum?
Yes, they have to...
before that, do they have to come talk to somebody like you to prepare their case? Or?
If they are lucky enough to have a provider take over that specific shelter. Sometimes they do have workers there that may help them, but not everything is a word to mouth. So they hear other people talk. So it's, if one place says this, because I do remember when we first opened up, we had people clients from other shelters come to our shelter asking for help, but we could not service them because we were only focusing on our, the building was bought for only that specific building.
And with all the people that are coming here into the United States, and with the elections coming up in 2024, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to see some riots from migrants? For example, if the Make America Great guy gets back in, do you think you're going to see riots from migrants that aren't trying to get deported again?
So we're going to see a lot of anything. We don't know what to expect, right? Honestly, I feel like if Americans decide to stand up, we will see that riot, right? We did stand up for what was going off in the Middle East and, out there. I do see a little more social movements going on, but it's honestly up to us. What are we deciding to do? Now, if, next 2024, there's a shift in who becomes president, then we just need to see what will happen. They may create a lot of riot because a lot of them won't qualify and they will be deported. Some of them will be able to stay because they have their work permit and social and they have temporary protective status. So it's going to be a battle.
Either way, we'll be expecting chaos pretty much.
Basically, in any aspect. So it depends on us Americans, what are we going to do?
So on top of all this that's going on, a lot of these migrants are also receiving these Social Security cards. And how are they getting Social Security? If they're here illegally, how do they get Social Security?
They are provided with referral to legal services. As soon as they come in through the border, their immigration papers all have a pro bono legal service. They just have to call. Obviously, the high volume, it's massive. It's very difficult to reach somebody to receive assistance now. Like I mentioned, if a nonprofit organization takes over, now they have caseworkers, then they can provide them with other referrals and outside community services, offices, agencies that help them apply for those type of Social Security and work permits.
And they get that Social Security, and what do you think the end goal is with them getting Social Security?
The end is to stay here. Some of them do find jobs, some of them don't, because they know they're just getting free money from the government.
And with these Social Security cards, will they be able to vote in the elections?
Yes, they will. They will be able to vote.
And are you seeing a big push of these migrants getting these Social Security cards so that they can vote come November?
I do definitely see that. I have seen many influencers speak about that, and I never thought about that in a way. And then honestly, seeing more of that really opened my mind and really do a little more research. And I'm like, it's honestly wide opening that how much they're pushing this, and I never thought about it because of the elections. So now I just want to see how everything will play out.
Wow. And at the end of the day, do you think the reason why they haven't stopped people from coming into the country is for these elections, that by the time that it gets to time of November, in election time, they'll have 2 million, up to 8 million new voters. And most of these people are most likely going to be voting for the person that's keeping them here in the country.
That's definitely a possibility, definitely. But then I also see a lot of us now seeing a change. So the ones of us that can vote, I know myself, and I am sadly to say I've never voted even when I was in college. And I just, because I'm a migrant myself, right? I came here when I was 5 years old, but we never received these type of help back then as compared to how these migrants are receiving so much services now. But I received my papers not so recently, so now I'm a citizen for the U.S. And the way America has been, it has not been as bad, but now the change, I definitely see it. And with all the voting that's about to happen, I'm definitely going to vote this year because I've definitely educated myself and I've opened myself to a possibility of if I want to make a change, we need to speak up. Because if we do not, then how is anything going to change? How? Nothing's going to happen. Because we're not speaking up, we're not saying anything, we're not taking action. That's the problem. If we do not take action, we're not going to make that change.
After doing some research on the website usa.gov, this is the criteria for people who can vote, and it does not look like illegal immigrants will be able to vote. However, it says in some areas, non-citizens are able to vote in local elections. With all these people that are coming over, they brought over around 8 million, and there's going to be people like you who maybe were on the other side of the red side, I guess I'll say that.
Yes.
Now you're going to be flipping from blue to red. Do you think there'll be more people than that 8 million that are going to flip over to the red?
I feel like there's a high possibility that yes, because when I hear a lot of conversations with coworkers or outside, I'm just, in public, like I definitely do hear a lot of people speaking that they are changing from blue to red. And it's because of what's been happening, look, no offense, but look who's our president. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm going to say.
And another concern I have with all these migrants is I talked to a lot of them, and they all either speak Spanish or they speak French, and there is no sign of them trying to learn English.
Definitely. So in my demographics, it's definitely, I would say, a lot of Spanish-speaking clients, but as well, we do see Russian, we do see Bambara. I've never knew that language, and honestly, hearing of that, it doesn't matter what migrant comes in, it's a free-for-all. Especially, it depends, I do understand, like I mentioned before, a lot of them do need that help. They do need the asylum because they do speak about those traumatic things that happens in their own country where they see their own family being murdered. So it's very traumatic. I do understand, that side. But then now because the media out there, people, word of mouth, the way the system is, they are seeing that it's a free fall, that's the ticket. That's the ticket to society in America.
And is there any incentives for them to learn English, or are they trying, or is there any programs that are helping them?
So we do give them referrals to go and apply for some schools. It could be high schools, it could be communities around the area that provide them with English classes. Some do take it, some don't. After a certain point, they no longer can do the services. That's it.
Okay. And now recently, actually today, Mayor Adams said he's only going to be giving these migrants 30 days in these shelters and they can't reapply. I think I'm not sure if that includes families or so. But now are you seeing a shift in migrants being sent to other states, such as Arizona or just anywhere outside New York? Are migrants being now shipped to other locations?
I have personally not seen around my area afield that happening. I do know that they were providing them with vouchers to be moved out of state for a year, whether it was Buffalo, New Paltz, Syracuse. After that year, I think that was it. They would receive no more services, no more payouts. But they would pay for that full year for their rent. Some of them have been taking that and moved out. Others did not. They wanted to stay here and continue receiving the services here. When I would ask them why, you didn't take the opportunity, because later on they actually came back and asking if that was an option, but it wasn't anymore. So then I see also that the different, I don't know how to explain that. It's like the different opportunities they can get compared to what we can get here, and then they're also using it to their advantage. It's very appalling. Like it's very heartbreaking to see. Like the system is really corrupt.
So there's a lot of corruption here in New York City and just in the system altogether.
Definitely, there's no system in place. I'm not no politician myself. I'm just learning. I just started, reading a little more into it. But honestly, just by seeing it, feeling it, coming here as a migrant myself, as 5-year-old child to now a college graduate, because I did take advantage of that. School helped me receive my benefits. I didn't have to pay for it, right? So, but I did something with it now. So then some of these migrants, they do not. They just take advantage of the system. Others, like I mentioned, they do need that help. They do come here for a reason. So to that, I would say it's going to be a battle.
And last question, how much money is being spent on this problem here? If you could give a rough estimate.
Like a complete, $1 million or monthly, what would you say?
A monthly, and then just overall, what so far has been spent?
So based on, because once they get public assistance, that kind of tell us how much they get from their budget letter, I would say, like I mentioned, roughly 1,000 plus the 500, $6,007 a month.
$6,000 to $7,000 a month, and then
and a
by
medium average, yeah, for the most part, because that includes if they get food stamps, cash assistance, and then the hotels, depending on where they're staying at.
Mm-hmm. So it's anywhere up to about $7,000 to $8,000 a month for a migrant or for a migrant family, and there's about 200,000 of them here in New York City. So that'd be about 160 million, or even more. But yeah, 1.6 billion almost a month, I think, right? If my math's right. So it's
on average, because then they also have Medicaid, right? Then now the money that goes into them inside to pay for the food, all of that, they take into the amount that's put into these migrants.
Yeah, so about $1.4 billion every month is getting spent on migrants. If they're receiving about $7,000 per migrant here in New York City, about anywhere from 1 billion to 1.4 billion. There's a lot of men that come over here without their families. They're here all by themselves. Are they receiving the same treatment, or what's the plan with them?
So from my experience and what I've seen, it's different in the sense that they do receive some services, but it's not the same as having a child here, a family here, children. So that they can receive some services, but it's more difficult, and the way the shelters are set up, they're different. There's different type of shelters. So there's family shelters, there's single men shelter, single woman, adult, family, children. So if you do your research and you go online, you can definitely see that there are different type of shelters out there, and there are different locations where they have the intake center. For the migrants, now they've made them all basically intake at the Roosevelt.
Okay. Yeah, so the Roosevelt is where everyone comes, and then from there they ship them off and move them to
whatever shelter is available,
shelters.
whatever is open.
What has been some of the most horrific things you've heard from these migrants?
Their family back home are being, what's that?
Extortion? Nice?
Yeah, extortioned. Yeah, they are being extortioned. There's gangs out there that would take a family member and ask for exchange for money. Some of them were decapitated. We do not see that proof. We don't see those documentations. So that's basically what they have to prove in court once they are met with a judge and do those proceedings.
And then if they don't pass that process with the judge, are they going to be deported out of the country immediately after they've had their time here and after they've done their asylum? If they've presented their asylum?
That I would not know. That's up to the judge and what happens in court. Like, I'm assuming yes, because there's no reason for them to stay here, but it also depends. I feel like everything has been a case-by-case basis.
Oh, okay. Yeah, awesome. Thank you.